I was watching this Navy SEAL story, and the guy was talking about they're going out on a mission, and his buddy and him are like shitting around with each other. Like apparently they're just a bunch of like. It sounds like a high school football team when they describe the SEAL teams because they're all just chewing Red Man and just being shitty to one another. But they were joking around with one another, and the guy goes, "I hope you get fucking shot tonight." And he got shot that night in the head.
No,
like he lived, but like he got shot that night. And so they get back, and that guy's a mess, and he's telling everybody, he's like, "Oh my God, I feel so awful. I told him, I hope you get shot tonight." They're like, "Why would you say that? Why would you ever say that?" Like everybody has a meltdown. It's great.
It was
How bad were the injuries? Do you know?
His arm was shattered, shot into. It took a few months to heal up, and the head thing was fine because of his nods and his helmet. But he got an infection from the evacuation running through blindly now without nods into gross stuff with all the wounds and shrapnel. But
what is this word? Nods?
Night vision goggles.
Oh, okay.
But long story short, he was back on the SEAL team shooting people. It wasn't even SEAL team, it was Delta Force. He was back there shooting people a few months later. Like as soon as his arm was healed and he could pass the test, he was back. He tried to sneak back.
So one Navy SEAL told another Navy SEAL he hoped they got shot.
Yeah. Okay. And then they did that night.
That's a bit different than like people at the bank or like at Stone Cold Creamery being like, "I hope you get shot, you raspberry scooping idiot." Like, no, like
I thought they were football players.
Yeah,
mixed up.
He's like, "Oh my goodness, I never would have imagined my Navy SEAL teammate could be shot at." And it's like, that was all that you guys did is get shot at and shoot people.
Yeah, I love those podcasts. Those have become one of my favorite things. The like Special Forces guys and the Delta Force guys talking about going on missions and doing crazy shit.
Which podcasts are they?
I don't pay attention to the host. I don't know their names. I never know anybody's names. I kind of
listening to stories.
I'm just listening to the story. I almost want the host to shut up because I just want his story. And it's always crazy shit. It'll be like stuff that you wouldn't think would even happen. There was one guy who was Delta Force, and they sent him on a solo mission looking for the people who smuggled Osama bin Laden out of Afghanistan. And he just dressed like a native, kept quiet, and hitchhiked and took buses deep into Afghanistan for days and days and days. And they're like, "What if anybody asks you anything? Just act like you're dumb as fuck, you know?" Like, and they showed up. Like he just blended in somehow and didn't get murdered. Yeah. Lots of crazy stuff.
Blended in.
I'm so mixed on Navy SEAL stuff. On one hand, stories like that, love them.
That guy was
can't get enough. I love the cool Army stories. That's the best. But sometimes they'll go on a podcast and be like, "Yeah, it was rough in Beirut. I don't even like to talk about it." Well, you're on a podcast, you fuck shit. Talk about it. That's what you're here for. Or they do this. Navy SEAL disapproves of Donald Trump's tariff plan. Yeah, well, if you have any questions about armory or bullets or something, ask the Navy SEAL guy. You want to know taxes? Talk to an accountant.
Yeah.
That would be fun to have a Navy SEAL on and then only ask, like, "So what, when you're over there, like, and chilling, like, what shows do you watch?" Like, just asking just boring shit.
The problem is a lot of them aren't good storytellers. So you'll be listening and you're like, and the guy will have to stop. And he's like, "Wait, so you shot that guy?" "Oh yeah, shot him." You should have punctuated that moment.
Yeah.
The moment where you shot the man. You just kind of moved past it with like he was just like, and I engaged that guy. And then I look on the roof and like, whoa, you engaged him? Yeah, I shot him in the face and it exploded. All right, we'll say that. That's much better. Like they're not great at telling stories.
Right. Sometimes the right host though can.
You also don't want to run into the one that's like, dude, and then all of a sudden it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Shot him. And it was like a slow motion bullet. It was like the movie Wanted with Angelina Jolie, and I fucking curved this shit. The second minute it hit its forehead, it peeled back the eyebrows first. Below that, this cranium started crack. It was awesome.
First,
then you're like,
yeah,
first confirmed collateral.
And then this is the thing. This is the thing, Joe, that they don't want to say, and all the other special forces guy will tell you. You get hard.
You come a little.
You're leaking a little bit. That's why they hold
help that I was on their crotch.
I wore a condom on every engagement, Joe. I'd fill that thing up before I got back. I tell you, every night.
That's how we knew if we'd done a good job that day, how full your condom was. If it was barely clinging onto your dick, being pendulous with the weight of semen, you knew you killed a lot of evil that day. I don't believe your track record anymore.
Aren't you glad you didn't go do that? Did you ever think about joining the military?
Never. Not once.
Not even
seriously.
a little.
I did in high school, for sure.
Yeah.
Where were you going to go if you wanted to, Hecz?
Oh, I had no concept. Oh.
No, you go.
No, he asked you.
Yeah, I think Army was the only thing that was like popular to me back then, or something that I heard a lot of. They had ROTC there, and I almost joined that, and I did want to serve, and then all of a sudden, just like something else happened, and my mind was just somewhere else. But yeah, I told my dad, I'm like, yo, I don't think college is for me, so I'm either going to go and get a job, a serious one, or I'm gonna join the Army. My pops was like, all right.
He supported whatever you decided.
Oh yeah.
After 9/11,
good dad.
Like I took it. I was mad. I was really mad. And there were so many sad stories about those people that were flying out of the building, jumping from the flames and shit. We saw all that. I was mad, and it seemed like we were going to get him. And George Bush was gung ho after he crawled out of his hole. Like after they told him it was coast was clear and he crawled out, he was gung ho. He was like, I hear you, and pretty soon the people that knock down these buildings are gonna hear all of us. And I was like, fuck yeah, that sounds good. I wanted them to build the towers back exactly the way they were. Or I saw one mock-up where it was just a hand giving the middle finger, like put in towers.
I've seen that.
Put in towers.
But
Should've
yeah,
like that.
I thought seriously about going, and I talked to Dad about it, and he was like, nah, you don't want to do that. They'll kill you over there. And I was like, nah. No, but we had like a serious conversation about it. And he was like, you really don't want to do that. You think, let's go wait till next year. Let's see how the war goes. I think he said something like that. Let's see how the war goes. Like you don't want to be the first man across the line. Let's let them go out and clear things out and build all the forward operating bases that you'll be staying in. Let's let all that happen first.
My friend ended up in Iraq just mowing down people who can't fight back, really.
It would have depended. I don't know what was going on in 05. Was 05 still 05 was Afghanistan. I don't think we'd done Iraq yet.
No, we were in Iraq.
We were probably in both at that point. Yeah, because 9/11 was 2001.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, so 4 or 5 years later, we were into it.
We were in both of them still in like 2009. I know because my friend, the Marine guy, shout out to him. He was like doing ROTC for like one semester, and we were in college together because his parents were like, okay, if you're going to do this, because he was one of those kids who like, when we went to kindergarten together, and they asked like all of us, like, what do you want to be? And everyone had like bullshit kindergarten answers, like a sports star, a baseball legend. And he was like, I want to be a frontman Marine who breaches doors. And like knew exactly what he wanted to be. And he did like half of a semester of ROTC. And then he's like, dude, this is gay. The war's going to be over by the time I get there. I'm dropping out. And his parents tried to stop him, and he just dropped out and joined the Marines anyway. And then went over there and fought and did his thing.
Was he in Fallujah? Where did he go?
I believe he was. Yeah.
He kicked down doors?
That's in Afghanistan, right?
I don't know, but I know Fallujah is like one of the crazier. Fallujah was like a city of terrorists, and they surrounded it, and they went door to door and got them all.
He kicked down doors. That was one of his jobs.
Like I think a lot of Americans died in Fallujah. There's a game I think maybe called 6 Days in Fallujah or something like that, and it's that you get to play as your buddy. You should tell him about it. He'd love that.
I bet he would. Like
they made a game about you, and
he would like it.
I bet he's still like, he loves, like, he knows he would never go join the military again because we're in our 30s now, but like he still keeps up with a lot of his Marine buddies and guys who are still in, and so he'll talk to us and be like, oh, he's into a lot of the same stuff Kyle is, where he's like, oh, these new planes are fucking sick. Look at this video of these new guns and like the way they're doing this mechanization now. And oh, the Ukrainians thought this is how it was going to go, but then the Russians did this, which we haven't seen like in a modern war in a long time. Like just interested at seeing how wars play out, which I think is kind of similar to what you view for Kyle, unless I'm mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, I was just I liked World War II stuff so much in high school. And my dad did too. So we'd watch anytime we had the remote control, we were watching History Channel probably. And the History Channel was basically World War II all day, every day. And so I was really fascinated by that. And so to see this new European war that's in the modern era, it is fascinating. It's crazy to watch. The stuff we did in Iraq and Afghanistan was different, was like very different. This is a real war. This is chess pieces moving around the board and all sorts of counterattacks and new weapons and learning and weapons being developed as the war goes. It's been.
Are we talking about Ukraine right now?
Yeah.
Modern warfare.
Seeing those drones drop the thermite on those guys, or seeing like I saw some advanced like tactics this week where they're moving. Ukrainians are moving multiple APCs and multiple tanks coordinated with drones, and it's like they edit the video together, and it's like a movie. It's like as soon as they start taking
I saw
fire
the one
from
where
over
they
here.
were. I saw one that dropping thermite on the in the little there was like a little forested area.
Yeah,
that shit was nuts.
Can you imagine being in a hole and looking up and seeing that?
Thermite isn't for exploding; it's for burning through stuff, right?
Yeah. I don't know that it was thermite. It could have been some kind of white phosphorus. It's some sort of it's a chemical agent that's burning super, super hot, like thousands of degrees. And
white phosphorus is that really scary one, right?
Yeah, I think Willie Pete is another thing they call it. It's probably Willie Pete's probably a mixture of things. But yeah, it's incendiaries they drop from the sky, basically that stick to you.
What were you mixing? What were you mixing during the show? What was it called? The mix that you
tannerite is what he said.
Tannerite.
Oh yeah. For explosives, tannerite.
Yeah,
but I've used thermite before, and I've used
something else, red dot. I don't know what that was.
Oh, that's just another kind of ammonium nitrate explosive agent. It's just sensitized. There's another agent, so it'll blow up more easily or even be flame sensitive. But it's essentially ammonium nitrate that's giving it all the pop. That's the explosive part of it.
That's pretty cool. Too bad.
And napalm. We did napalm too. I wanted to make real napalm, so we ordered chemicals off the internet.
Is it safe to have a few pounds of that just sitting in your attic?
Napalm?
No, tannerite.
Oh, so safe. So
good.
Safe. Yeah. like so safe. It's by this time a little bit of moisture has seeped in and it's become partially inert, and all those tiny little prilled balls have formed into a solid thing now. You'd have to like take a ice pick to it to get it to work again.
By the attic, though.
And you're going to tell me that's safe too?
Oh, 100% safe. Like there's not like
I always take an ice pick to my explosives. You're fine.
I've had plenty
if it did go off magically, the attic's got to be the worst possible place.
Yeah, put it under your bed. What are you thinking?
Put it in the corner of the basement you don't care about as much.
No,
and
the attic's
on the bottom. I don't think you know how bombs work. Like,
is this like a known thing that you keep your stuff up there?
Me?
Thermite?
I don't have.
I think he's just got some explosives
some
left
extra.
over from. Yeah. No, there's nothing wrong with that. That stuff's super safe.
One of those no basement states.
Yeah, dude. I saw a video of a North Korean soldier who's captured by the Ukrainians, I guess, and he's bandaged up like a horror movie victim. Like his whole head is a big. And it's not clean bandages. They're like a little yellowish and blackened in some places. And you can see like one eye, and he's speaking in North Korean or Korean. Maybe it's probably the same. So I have no idea of validating the captions. But he's basically like, we were used as meat. We didn't have good guns. We didn't have good ammo. We were told we would at least have shovels. There were no shovels. It's like the worst trip ever. Like he says they were just kind of thrown in with ill-equipped.
You think they like got to ask questions first, where they're like, Kim Jong-un's like, all right, you're all going to Russia, a great country that has centuries of battle victories, and you're going to be a part of it. They're like,
yeah, I'm sure they got fired up.
How did they win? How did they win all their battles? Oh, great one.
Attrition.
Certainly not just throwing piles of ill-equipped bodies at enemies by the millions. Definitely not that.
I would
that would be the worst country to get thrown on the front lines by, like from the Soviets to the Russian Empire to whoever. Seems like the only way they win is just brute amount of guys.
But does Russia have any losses? Afghanistan, I can think of. Who else?
Oh, I just was meaning like they try and pump up their World War II victory the way we do as well. And so they'd be like hanging their hat on that.
I get it. I'm just thinking like, but they win. I want Russia to lose in Ukraine. And
they seem to be winning.
I mean, they just don't fight a lot of wars either.
According to the propaganda I watch, they're paying brutally and about to quit any day now.
Oh, yeah. Just another check. We're a check away from Russia being defeated. Surely this time.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I don't think it's super one-sided. The Ukrainians are killing a lot of people. They're just killing so many people and blowing up so much shit. It's crazy.
It's crazy that the Russians are okay with it. Like on a really bad day, the Russians will lose like 13,000 people, right? So there's like 4 9/11s that day. And
what? Really? They're having
so many.
Yeah. I can fact check it.
No, I mean, I'm not, I don't know.
And they just so many don't seem to get demoralized. They never think about pulling out.
Well, I don't think it's even an option. And all those guys signed up. I saw a cell phone video of like, I don't know, a Russian commander hyping all of his troops up for the battle to come. And he's like, you signed up for this. Would you rather be back in your prison cells? Would you rather be, working a job in the mine? You signed up for this. So take what you signed up for like a man. We're going out there tomorrow and we're going to kill. And it was like, dude, I am not getting hyped up by this at all. Me either.
Yeah.
It was such a downer speech.
I mean, I wouldn't want to live in Russia or North Korea.
No?
I mean, if I had to pick one.
Brave stance.
Yeah. Very brave stance. Because there's millions of people who would. I think there's people from countries way worse than Russia.
There was a famous
We're just from like a country way better than Russia.
Early in the Ukrainian conflict, there was this dude, maybe from Texas, he looked like it, this big old fat hillbilly dude who was like, I'm going to go fight with the good guys. And he joined like some Russian unit or whatever. They genuinely raped him and murdered him.
From an American joined the Russian side?
Yeah.
Do you think, how funny would it be if it's like an honest to God translation error? He bought a ticket to the wrong city. He's there's a lot of Y's and K's and goofy umlauts. I figured.
No, he was blogging about it like the whole time. He was one of those guys. He was all about
Who raped and killed him?
His Russian comrades thought he was a spy, so they raped and killed him.
Oh.
Ew. Was he a looker?
No, that's the thing. He was, it's real, like the worst.
Guy?
Big, fat, ugly guy. Yeah.
It's like, who's the guy that got raped in Deliverance?
Ned Beatty.
Yeah, not far from that, right?